real quick. Well, this ain't going to be quick. We got to examine this for a second. But at the same time as there's shit like this going on in the world, and whatever the fuck the other guys are doing with the invisible men and the dance routines and the magnetic choke slams and all that stuff. Meanwhile, the most serious and most profitable wrestling promotion potentially in the world has become the WWE. It's definitely the most profitable, but now are they going to swerve us again and be the most serious? Because even from the company who brought us bringing a kid out of the crowd at WrestleMania, but at least he was a living, breathing being and he didn't set himself on fire. I don't know, but
that would have been amazing.
Actually, it might have saved the segment. But anyway, a point I'm making is SmackDown is now on the Fox network, or soon to be. What the fuck? I guess this is this the end of Rico? This is the final nail in the coffin now of wrestling being the hand-to-hand, other squared circle sport equivalent to boxing, and the whole reason it is to convince people that you're having a conflict that they'll buy tickets to see, because now nobody needs to buy tickets. The WWE is going to be the biggest wrestling promotion in the world for the next 5 years just on the TV rights. It doesn't have to be good. They don't have to get people over. They just need they have to produce content for the network now. And how the fuck USA Network kept the supposed A show, or got the A show, but Fox Network got the B show, for fuck's sake, which is now the A show because Fox Network's a bigger deal than USA. There's all kinds of things to talk about here. Wrestling back on a major network. Nobody could ever convince me that UPN and CW and et cetera are major networks, but Fox is, Big Four. Wrestling is back on network TV like it was in the middle of the 80s and it was in the middle of the 50s. Every 30 years this happens. But this time, is it going to make anybody stars, or do they just have to produce a show? There's no pay-per-views anymore. You don't have to sell a big match. The whole idea of wrestling, I guess the whole idea of wrestling went out the window a long time ago, with the blow-up dolls and all the other bullshit, and just all the guys thinking they're entertainers. But now, is there a need for a big match? I'm just asking these questions out loud.
I thought you were going to say it was the death of network television.
What?
Showing that they've given up on their ability to create original programming and realize it's much cheaper to get a show that really isn't going to pull the ratings they want, but they don't have to worry about it. They can throw it on the air.
Well, but it also, and to be honest, it probably will get the decent ratings that they want, because network shows don't do 35 million people anymore, because there's 4 networks, but there's also 400 other channels microcasting to everybody, including the fucking golf fanatics or whatever. But with the TV rights alone, the WWE can't lose money, right? Just from
no, they're not going to be losing money anytime soon. No.
I mean, if they didn't do anything else. So so for the people wanting an edgier product or wanting a different product, or I think we've given up on wanting a more realistic product or whatever. But they don't, for the people not wanting Roman Reigns, for the people whatever, they don't need to change anything now. They don't have to sell tickets to the house shows to stay in business. They don't have to sell pay-per-views to stay in business. And they don't really, I'm wondering, to be honest, if the guys that have the bigger contracts, the Brock Lesnar's and everything, if they're not less attractive now, because goddamn, where else those stars going to go? They're going to either go to UFC or home. There's no place else in wrestling to go. And with all this guaranteed money, as long as they don't just completely shit the bed, do they need to pay for stars anymore? Why do they need to have stars? Otherwise, then that's what they've always done. Well, they don't need to do anything now.
You're making it sound like there's a monopoly.
They just need to produce content that gets a base number, and they're in the pink financially. But now once again, this makes SmackDown the A show because Fox Network is better than USA Network. Fox is broadcast television. Even whether if you've cut the cord or whatever the fuck you've done, you can still, all you have to do is get an antenna, and every place with television has a Fox affiliate, which means that everybody with television now has access to SmackDown, which makes it bigger than USA. As one of the selling points to Sinclair Broadcasting when they bought Ring of Honor, and not that it would mean anything now, don't start the rumor that, they'll get rid of Ring of Honor. But we told them, we said, wrestling has a 50-year plus 60-year tradition on broadcast television, and now there is no wrestling on broadcast television, but you can have it on your air, and they liked that as one aspect.
Hey, wait a minute. Doesn't Sinclair own Fox stations? I mean, it owns various stations of various different companies like ABC or NBC, but yeah. If they own Fox stations and they have Ring of Honor on those networks, I wonder if there's anything in the deal that prohibits any Fox affiliate from having more than the WWE's programming on their shows, because it's not like they haven't been known to write that into their contracts before.
No. I don't think. Well, and once again, it wouldn't be a matter of Sinclair Broadcasting saying, "Oh, well, then we'll just kick this show off the air." It's their fucking company, right? So there'll probably be in those markets a lot of Ring of Honor watch Ring of Honor spots on the SmackDown. If you want to know the truth about it. But anyway, so in every 30 years, as I mentioned, this is a cycle. It seems to happen. Does this mean everything's going to get hot again, but for the modern age of wrestling, and then it's going to burn out and everybody's going to go back and start their own territory? I hope. But unfortunately, it worked that way the first time, but didn't work that way the last time.
Problem is we have the same leadership and management as we had last time. We need different management. And it may be within the same company, but it shouldn't be the old man.
And so I guess now they're going to make a couple $2 billion over the next 5 years on TV rights. They're going to generate that. It won't all be profit, but they're going to generate that. And the guys are still independent contractors. Wouldn't you know who won the pony?
Yeah. Somebody
brought that up on Twitter also, that the guys still pay their own rental cars and have no health insurance and et cetera, et cetera. And I've said this before, and I'm not even trying to bust their balls about it. But the reason why that would never have worked for the wrestlers to be employees or to be taken care of in the fashion of employees, just willingly by the company, would never have worked for any other wrestling promotion ever in history, except this one. Now, especially. They could have done it before, but now they especially can fucking do it. But yeah, financially, I mean, how that was the one last refuge of every pro wrestling promoter was you could cry poverty and usually present a pretty good case. Even in the old days when the guys were fucking rolling in money, sometimes you could prevent the guys from seeing all of it, right? Or whatever the fuck, or doing the math, but there's no way not to be able to do this fucking math. And, anyway, I don't know, but, if all the boys got together, but that ain't gonna happen. And you know what? When you don't need to make big megastars because you don't need to sell big matches because your income is guaranteed, then that means that you can pay less for the guys on top instead of more. And the fewer megastars you have, the fewer people that have pull to make changes by banding out all the talent together because it makes them less important. It's almost like it was done this way on purpose.
Almost like. I think they should have a program where they let the mid-card guys spend a day in the mailroom once a week. So they can get like insurance.
They might not want to go back out on the road. They might like that better. Howie's mailroom guy was there for 20 fucking years.